Welcome to Create Beautiful Charts with charts.css in AL. Hey, I'm Eric, and everything looks better with a nice looking chart, a nice looking diagram to visualize your data, and there's a lot of ways to do this. There are built-in ways to do this in AL. They're very generic looking, and you have no say on how the business charts control actually shows your data and so on. And of course there's always the Power BI way, but the challenge with Power BI is that it's not as lightweight and as easy as and real-time data and stuff like that. So sometimes you just want to show something nice. And this other day I clicked on something and I found something and said, I wonder if we could use this in AL. So here goes. If you watch this video, it means that it works. I have no idea if this works or not. If you don't watch the video, then I guess it did not work and it was not worth putting out on YouTube. So you know more than I at this point in time. That's exciting. Anyway, the thing that we are playing with today is called charts.css. And the idea is that this is basically just cascading style sheets that are building everything. So there's no JavaScript, it's just apparently CSS. And it's the way I understand it, it's quite clever because you just build up a HTML chart and then ask to render that with some classes on, and then an HTML table, and then that table, by the magic of CSS turns into something like this. So let's do that. And before we can do anything, we probably need somewhere to start. So how about here? Here's a fresh app. Let's create a page. Chart CSS test. Page type equal card. Maybe page type equal user control host. Now it's mad at me. Yeah, but I haven't gotten to the part of actually doing something. Layout area, there's only content here. Wow. And then we need to add a user control. So let's create a user control. So how do we create a user control? So a user control is a host. So when you're in not BC25, I'm not running BC25 anymore, I'm running BC26. So when you're in BC somewhere, you can designate an area of the page. You define the size, and that area is basically an iframe that contains a complete web page, and the complete web page can then be anything. So let's try to do that. So we create a new file, charts.css.al, and the weird thing is that we insert, over here we insert a user control, but the user control we insert is not a user control. That would be too easy. No, that's a control add-in. We call that chart CSS. They have for some reason the object type with no numbers, only names. Very modern. And we can give it a size. We can say maximum height. We don't want a maximum. Minimum height, let's just go for something 200. Minimum width 200. vertical stretch true, horizontal stretch true. So it has a size, and then take up the space it can be allowed to take from the page. So since we are in a user control host page, I assume that this means that it just takes all the space. I think this is actually the first time I'm trying a new page type, so this is more than lots of things in the same video. So now we need to add some JavaScript, and let's go back here for a second. Installation. We can download the CSS, or we can just grab it from CDN. So how about we just do that? Meaning that we grab this thing. That's a style sheet. So we go here and then we say style sheets. We add this thing. And I think we need our own, so we might as well, because I think we wanna charts.css, oops, I don't go away, Copilot. We don't use that. So I think we can say comma. Was that a comma? That was a dot. Comma. And then we go chart CSS. What did I call it? Charts CSS. There we go. Okay. Then we need, so whenever a user control runs the first time, it calls a startup script. So let's create a startup chart CSS -startup JavaScript. So let's create that one also. Chart CSS -startup JS. And the only thing I want to do in here is basically let's do HTML container equal, and then let's grab where we need to go. So what Business Central does in the iframe actually renders a page that has just a single div in it. So we can grab that by get element by ID, and the ID of this is called control add in, capital A, capital I. So we have that. And then we probably need some, let's go back to this guy. So some script that is low, scripts. So chart CSS functions, JS. Let me grab this here, and then we go new file, something like this. And let's just create one function right now. One function here called render. Get some HTML. So in reality, if you want a HTML container, what did I call it in the startup? HTML container. And then we can go and say insert adjacent HTML before end, and we insert HTML. So if you want, hang on, Eric, what is this? What did you do? There is an old video on the channel somewhere of the JavaScript hacking, JavaScript workbench, something like that. I think I go into details on this, but basically what this will allow us to is to send some HTML to this control, and it'll put it into the control. But we need to tell that we have this function. So we go back to this guy, and then we say we say that there's a procedure called render that takes, what did we call the parameter? We call the parameter HTML lowercase. HTML, that's a text. And then we need to do one more thing before we're kind of ready to do anything here. And that is we need to, so the way when a page is loading in Business Central, so when I go here, do we have BC somewhere? BC 26. When I go in here, when I log in, let's just stay logged in. So when I click on customer, we get the customer list. Wakey wakey, there it is. But you know, on open page, on the normal triggers tend to trigger too early, so the user control iframe might not be rendered yet. So what you do instead is that we go into startup and say, okay, when we're done with startup, what we can do is that we can call, there's a Microsoft.dynamics.nav.invoke extensibility method. Then we can invoke something like control ready. That's a typical thing, and we could give some parameters to that, but we're not going to. So this one will actually invoke an event. We have to define the event. So in here, I can go and say event control ready, nothing. So now we have an event, and this is when it's going to get triggered by this bit here. So we know in AL when the user control is ready. So what problems do I have? I have a problem that this is not proper CSS. We don't care. I think we just have a blank file actually, and then we have a problem here. So now we should be able to do chart, and then tell that this is charts.css. Let's add an application area up here. Application area there. And while I remember it, because I'm so bad at remembering, launch JSON, let's make sure that we actually open our new page. And let's make sure that we are not getting the Azure AD try function that is in the startup code. So what we can see here now is that we have trigger, we have the control ready trigger. So this means at this point in time, I can do something. And let's try to see if this just works. So I can go curepage.chart.render. So render is the function we defined. If we go back to this one, so that's the one we defined here, meaning that we could do some HTML, strong, hello YouTube, not so strong. That's HTML for you, right? Okay, let's hit it. Yes, I know I need to log in. Boom. And what we probably want to do, right, so we can see that this is the new page where there's nothing on it, there's no, but if we grab the Control Shift I, the thing, the inspection tool, and we say inspect, we can see that the control add-in, the div control add-in where this is in, occupy the entire page. Perfect, that's what we want. Excellent. Now let's see if we can actually make some charts. So let's go back. So we have installed it now. Package manager, don't care. And then let's go to usage. HTML tables. So here is the table. So let's actually just grab their data right now. So we could easily see this creates this thing. We could easily just build HTML, and now it's totally gonna use a new feature in VC26, multi-line string. So here is our, just paste it in, header 5. Yep. There's our chart. Aha. And what did they want us to do? Let's go back here. They format nicer than we do. So to make the data available for use, a data layer is added using CSS variables. The same table with CSS size, so we can see that we are printing something nice, but then we add a style saying, oh, this is the real value. Okay, so let's grab this version instead. Let's grab this version instead. And we go back and then we put this in here. This should give the same thing at this point, because we have not specified anything style-wise. Okay, so now we need to continue the so first add the general charts CSS class to the table. Okay, let's do that. Table, we add a class, here we go. Yeah, maybe. Was that the expected outcome? So what you typically want to do, by the way, here is go back in the inspection tool and see what's on the console. If there's something weird coming out, there's not. Okay, let's continue the next. Choose one of the chart types. So we want to do bar. And then hide data, show primary axis, show data axis. Okay, so let's just go with bar for now. We need to keep this simple. That's CSS, spacebar. So you want to add multiple classes to an element in HTML. You just add them with a space. Boom. We have a chart, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent. And the only thing we have done so far is just copy and paste random stuff off the internet to do this. Almost like we're on AI here. Hide data, show primary axis, show data axis. So we add those, perhaps not two space. I don't think that matters at all. Okay, we can see that it goes all the way to the other side. This is interesting. Custom styling. The biggest advantage of this framework has offers the ability to customize visibility using CSS. Select an HTML element inside the table and add your own rules. I use either an ID so here we are putting a div around the table. So we just have a table right now. So why are they talking about a... Okay, so we put a div around and then we add... So this is where... Okay, so the second part here is a style sheet. So remember we added a blank style sheet file, so we are ready. So now we're going to do this, my chart. Then we're just going to keep copy pasting stuff here. So we're going to take this and go back to our hello world. And if it's nicer to see the multi-line thing, then we can go like this. We can get rid of all the blank lines. They were kind of annoying. Yeah, they were. Okay. So now we want to do, here we're going to do div. We can indent stuff if we wanna, and we can go and div down here. So that should then do something. Oh, see that? So what did we actually do? What did we copy off the web? We copied a width, 100%, max width, 300 pixels, margin. So if left is omitted, then this is the very bottom is omitted, right? So I think it goes top. How is it? So left something. I'm actually not sure what way it goes. Anyway, clearly we use styling here. Okay, let's continue our little thing. To demonstrate how easy it is to add custom styling, check out our examples for applying basic styles, 3D effects, motion effects, and animations. It's amazing what you can do with a few lines of CSS. So are we going for 3D effect, motion effects, or animations? Let's do animations. So here are some more animations. Let's grab. So we grab this CSS and we add it here, I guess. I don't think we need to do more. Animation example on a column TD. So we need to put this into, where did it go? So do we put it up here? I have no idea what to put it. Where do we put it? Maybe we need to inspect what they're doing. That might be the easiest way. So they have no style here. Unless they added animation example they probably add. Okay, let's just try to add the what do we call it again? Animation example. Boom. And then we go as a hello world and we add it here. No, I think I jumped too far in the in the demonstration. I think we need to go back to, where are we? 25 minutes. So this was a, okay, hang on. This was a bar. Bars, we go all the way to the beginning. This was bar, so we say column instead. Let's just go there. Let's forget about the. So if I say column instead, okay. So how do you use this in real life? Well, in reality, you have to build out the HTML. So if we look at the HTML, we define a table for the caption. Then there's a table head section. And in the table head section, there is exactly one table row with 4 table head columns. And we see country, goals, reports, and then after the table head, we have a table body. And the table body in this case has 3 rows. So we go back and look. So those right now, those are expressed as 3 different sets of data here. And each row has a header for the row with a title. I think we did something up here saying hide data. So if we add that one back, see how it goes. Nothing. Is that because the example was a bar, now I changed it into a column? That didn't really do anything. Show data access. No. Anyways, we have the 3 sets of data here. So if you want to do this for your own data, you basically got to build up a string that have all this. You have to write out the source code as a string, and when you got it right, you send it to render. And typically, because we're already half an hour, so typically I would create a HTML builder, which is a text builder variable, and then you can go HTML builder.append line. I say, okay, the first thing I'm gonna do here is, I'm gonna do a table class equal charts.css bar, nothing else, boom, HTML builder append line. And then this is the way I usually do it. So I start by saying, okay, done with the table, right? So now I have something valid. So we can go in here, let me just copy this one so we do this faster. So I know inside this one, at least I need a table head, and done table head, and then I need a table body and a done table body. You can indent if you like. It doesn't really matter for the browser, doesn't care. But something like this, and then if we let's just get rid of this thing, and then I curve page dot chart. Wow, cancel. No. Chart dot render HTML builder to text. So if we want something with our customers, we would. I'm just gonna do it. Ha! I am just gonna do it. Customers. So let's say that customer dot set range number, because I have a lot of weird customers in this database. So 10,000 to 50,000. If customer dot find set, then repeat until customer dot next equals 0. Customer dot set auto calc fields sales LCY. So now I want to insert a each customer, right? So that would have to be, I need a table row for each customer. Maybe let's see if we can do this columns. I cannot spell tonight. Columns, there you go. Column. Hey, is it columns or column? Column. Oh, there was actually one example for this also. Okay, so you see we have done this part. And then we need to create a table row for each here. So we'll do HTML builder dot append line this, HTML builder dot append, append line and we're going to get back to this in a second, and then we're gonna do a end line here. So this one is, so here we need to add in let's do customer dot sales. Does it matter to me? It's probably mad at me. We can actually do it in another way. We can, no, let's do this. So we do customer dot sales LCY to text. Eventually to text plus, and then we need to have the visual version, which in reality is probably the exact same thing at this point. Hold my beer and let me hear the 5. Let's see what we get. Not exactly what I was looking for. Interesting. I wonder if they are just out of scale, if there's something that we need to do to tell the chart to oh, so this one, notice this one is, so we need to normalize. The chart requires unitless numbers between 0 and 1. Haha. And demo customers here are for sure less than. So we probably need to, no, and then now the video is getting long. Then we need to normalize this. So we will just, I think we'll just end it here. You get the point. You build up your dynamic, you build up your chart as HTML here. You can control it like you want, you can insert it like you want, and if you spend a bit more time than the 35 minutes I've spent on looking at all the options here, I think it's pretty cool and pretty accessible, and a lightweight way of adding some pizzazz to your data. So that's charts.css, and also a quick guide in how to get a user control up and running in the new user control host page type. And yeah, if you're done with this, here's more AL hacking for you. Check it out. It's a good one. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.